everybody. I'm Kathleen Hawkins, your proud president and founder of WOAMTEC. I am so excited about today's show because we're going to make it a little different. We're going to teach you how to have the most spectacular event you can ever imagine. We're going to teach you the importance of why you need to focus on managing your money and making sure that it's there. But most of all, we're also going to share with you some exciting tips on how to make money on the golf course. Yes, that's right, making money on the golf course. So today is going to be an exciting show, and we've got three amazing guests that I'm blessed to have here today. We have some other exciting news that's been happening as well. We are now in Alaska. You heard me. It's about to get cold in WOAMTEC. Yes, Tanya, give a big round of applause. Tanya's from Alaska. She promised to go there, but only if I took her in July. So thank you so very much for bringing our vision to Alaska, for helping keep it alive, and for everybody across the United States. Because, you know, Stacey Gillis, you had a killer month this last month in Maryland, and I'm excited to tell you that we were going to be doing a boot camp in Maryland in the beginning of November. I will have that flyer to you by the end of the month. So for all of our Maryland members, I can't wait to meet you personally and to help inspire, educate, and motivate you with some MBA level education in Maryland in November. So many great things, so many great people. I can tell you that I wanted to give a shout out to Tanya Cash and all of our directors in Georgia, because you two also rocked it in the month of September. So we just printed out commission reports. So many people are doing so many great things, and I just want to thank you. I want to thank you because you're not only supporting our vision here at WOAMTEC Corporate, but you're supporting the vision and the lives of all of the members in your chapter. And I just appreciate that so much. You know, if you haven't scheduled your business assessment with me, I encourage you to do so as soon as possible. Jeff, what are we booking out? I think in November. So we're already booking out as far as November. Just the last 10 days, I have had some spectacular business assessments with some amazing people. One was with an attorney who I think we really dove in and realized so many things about her business, so many important things about her business, that with just a few tweaks, I am confident her business is going to triple or quadruple, because there was a structure there and a skill there, but there was a lot of things that were missing as far as marketing and business is concerned. I had an interview with a physician, and we spent an hour getting to know one another and learning about their business, and she has already told me that I've changed her business and taken it to the next level. So it doesn't matter what your level of education is. What we're going to explore during your complimentary 1-hour business assessment, which is included with your membership, we're going to explore every detail about your business to help you reach your goals, to help you become as successful as you want to be. The more I know about what you need, the more I'm able to make a difference in your life, and the more our corporate team is able to implement things that will help your business grow and continuing to grow. You know, speaking of that, because it's all about, you know, not only making money, but doing it with a passion and being excited about what you're doing and living on purpose so you can take care of your family and so you can meet different people and just support the important things that are in your life. I wanted to take a moment and introduce you to one of our very valuable members, and I'm excited. She's a part of the Dr. Phillips Divas, which is awesome. But I wanted to take a moment and just take a little bit of time to talk about how you can make your money last, or how you can analyze your cash flow and your future. Because with every business, it is important to have an exit strategy. And as I'm continuing to talk to people across America, I'm discovering that so many people don't have an exit strategy with their business. And I'm not saying that I want you to say, hey, Kathleen, I'm gonna, you know, when I turn 60, I'm ready to close my business down, because if you're passionate about what you do, you may not be willing to say that at this moment. But you have to have a plan, so the day you're willing to say that, you've had a proactive approach, and you're ready to make that happen. So please welcome to the set today an incredible, beautiful, amazing lady. Krista, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I'm excited to be here with the WOAMTEC group. I've certainly enjoyed being a WOAMTEC member here in Orlando.
Yay. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Krista Inochovsky. I'm the co-founder of Sky Wealth Solutions, along with my partner, my husband, Roman Inochovsky. And we're wealth consultants, and we help business owners, women, entrepreneurs, and physicians to save, protect, and grow their money.
That is terrific. And I know you have a couple of steps that you recommend for somebody that's experiencing this. What would one of those steps be that you would encourage people to do?
Well, my main motivation is to get women involved, because statistics show, unfortunately, that women are, regardless of how high their education, regardless of the success that they're having in their business, the majority of women are not taking a proactive approach in their own personal finances. And I think that needs to change, don't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. And, I know a lot of women probably, if they're married, they're just letting their spouse, kind of handle it because he took the lead with it, maybe because at one point in time he was making more money or whatever it may be. So it doesn't matter who's making more money. But if somebody is letting their spouse handle it, what recommendations would you have for them?
Well, I want them to be motivated, which is why I wrote a book that everyone here at WOAMTEC can download for free.
Awesome.
Yes, it gives you reasons why you need to be involved, and then 4 reasons why you're going to be good at it. Because I think women, we need some encouragement, right? If it's not your cup of tea, if finance seems to be over your head, don't worry about it. You still need to, you have to just dive in and be a part of it. And so be motivated. And honestly, one of our biggest motivators could be looking at what would happen if you're not prepared.
I think that's really important because just recently I watched 2 videos, and there was one video about a husband that had a wife and she was pregnant at the time, and he was killed in a car accident one night when he was out, and she wasn't with him. So in that particular situation, he had life insurance. He had a plan for what would happen if she wasn't there. And though it was a horrible, tragic experience, and I would pray nobody that's watching would ever go through something like that, she was able to have the baby and be a stay-at-home mom and actually dedicate her time to creating a nonprofit on his behalf to educate and motivate people against drug driving. And she made a difference and he made a difference in their lives. So even past the time he was here, his legacy can continue. I also saw a video recently where there was a woman that her husband passed away. He got ill and he passed away. And it's right here in our own hometown in Lake Mary, where I currently live. And in her situation, her husband hadn't had insurance because the wife actually was involved and canceled it without telling her husband to save money. So he passed away not even knowing that they weren't going to be taken care of. And in her situation, they ended up homeless. And her boys had to go live with one family. The wife had to go live, or the wife and the daughter had to go live with another family. Think about what kind of financial setback would happen.
Right. So by doing nothing, you're doing something, unfortunately. So my number one reason is for women to get involved and know what they have. The other very scary statistic is that 80% of business owners don't have any financial plan involved. There's no retirement plan other than, I'll just sell my business someday. And we need a more in-depth exit strategy than just that. We need to have a strong retirement plan. Motivation is one, and then commitment. I want you to make a commitment to see it through. And what I mean by that is you might go home and talk to your husband after work today and say, I watched WOAMTEC Live, and Krista said we need to go evaluate our plan. And he'll go, we have it. What does we have it mean? Is it just a 401k? Is it just a mutual fund? Do you agree with it? So that leads right into the next step, which is to review it. Get it all out. Do you have life insurance, a will, estate plan, looking at your taxes, your business? Everything that has to do with your money needs to be all spread out and looked at between the two of you if you're married. Mm-hmm. And then take it to a professional.
And I have life insurance, but I was sharing with you before the show that I just recently discovered, or it was brought to my attention, and I had really never thought through this before. And I have my master's in business, so I should have thought through this before, but life just happens, and I was just kind of there, and I'd never thought through it. But what I discovered was if something were to happen to me immediately, right, it's not just, am I leaving my family with enough money to pay my bills? Because to pay our household bills, am I leaving my family with enough money to continue? But to think through it, like, could Jeff hire a CEO to take over WOAMTEC? If you have a $150,000 policy and, you're thinking that's going to be enough for your family not to suffer when you're gone, it could cost $100,000 to hire a CEO for WOAMTEC, but then also it could cost $40,000 to hire a nanny or whoever else is going to help continue to do the things that I don't do, right, or that I do.
Regardless if you're the breadwinner or not, even the stay-at-home moms, there's a huge value to what you do. And the cost to replace it, or to replace what you do, has a value. And that needs to be analyzed. It depends on the size of your mortgage. I mean, all of your expenses, those are the deciding factors in how much life insurance you're going to need.
I think that's important. Now,
retirement's another thing. I mean, I know we're getting off on a tangent on life insurance, but we're really talking about saving for our future of all that we have planned. I know WOAMTEC is full of great women that are leaders and have big visions for yourself, for your business, for your family, and all of that takes money.
Absolutely. And you don't want your lifestyle to change the minute you turn, 65 or 70. I know my mom's still working. She's 71 years old and she's still working because she owned a very successful cleaning business, cleaning and maintenance business with my dad. And when my dad passed away, she helped us for a while, but now she's in a situation where she's 70 years old and she's still working every day because she, like you said, didn't have that plan.
Right. And often it depends on where the money is, and that can kind of fall into who you're getting your advice from. I don't want to get off into a whole nother direction, but if you are risk adverse, if you're not comfortable with a risk level of the potential of losing money, then make sure that your money isn't sitting somewhere that could lose money, and that's where a lot of people are.
That makes sense. So talking with somebody, and I'm a firm believer that you need to talk with a financial services person, I believe once a year, but definitely every time life changes, every time something happens in your life to make it different. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. As your business changes, as you have children, just as life changes, your ideals on what your life is going to be, all those things are changing constantly, and so is the economy. And where you might have been comfortable with your money before, things may be changing in the government or the economy where you say, I'm not so comfortable there anymore, and let's take a look at some other options.
Okay, well, I do know that there are probably a ton of people out there that have been affected by the economy in the last 3 to 5 years or 6 years or 7 years. But what I do want to point out is it doesn't matter what your income is right now. You do need to speak with somebody in financial services to have a game plan, to at least have a plan so you know where you're going. And I also want to encourage, I wrote a blog. It's on our website. It's called The Profits in the Sauce. And it was a joke about, we have a local Chinese restaurant that every time we ordered Chinese, they would send tons of sauce, and we would always throw it away because we didn't use any, and that's something so simple that could save that restaurant a lot of money by asking if you want the sauce, So I want to share that with you because you need to really take a look at all of your expenses and what your cost of goods are and everything that you're investing in on a monthly basis to see if you may be wasting some of the profit just in sauce that could be moved or allocated. There may be things that you could be paying taxes on different things that by talking to a financial services person, they can say, hey, don't give that money to the IRS. Let's come up and do it this way, and shift it and mold it. Do you agree with that?
Taxation is a huge part of what we do at SkyWealth, and business owners have unique needs. When you're an independent consultant, when you're on your own, your retirement needs and your taxation are very different from someone in a corporate world, and that's our specialty.
So if somebody's out there watching right now and you're sitting there saying, you know what, this all sounds fun and dandy, but I'm struggling to get by day to day. I'm struggling to, pay my employees on a monthly basis or pay my bills on a monthly basis. Krista, what would you recommend that they do? I mean, we said talk to you now so you know what you need to work on, but what would you recommend?
It's so true. It is just as you have goals for your business, you need to have goals for your personal retirement plan, or even if it's not retirement, your future fund money and whatever it is you have planned to do. So to have that goal in mind, you want to speak with someone and say, all right, this is what I can do now, but I know that I'm on the right track, and in a year I'm going to move that up because I have the goal, and in a year I'm going to move that up, and I know that I'm on the right track because I'm making steps in the right direction, and I've spoken with a professional who can show me the benefits, and it will make a big difference just to get it started. Make that commitment and that dedication to yourself.
I think that's important because, I can tell you that I have spent a lot of time talking to a lot of businesses across the United States of America. And every time that I have spent that time, the biggest thing that I discovered from them is most people have a very proactive marketing or reactive marketing approach instead of a proactive marketing approach. And what I mean by that is you're reacting to the leads that are coming your way. You're reacting to the people that are responding to you. You're reacting to the times that your phone's ringing or your emails are coming through. You're not being proactive. You're not making your phones ring. You're not making your emails come through. You're reacting to whatever you get. And what I mean by that is the purpose of having a business plan and the purpose of having strong, serious professional goals in your business is to make absolute certainty that you are in control of how much money you're going to make on a weekly basis, that you know exactly how hard you have to work to get the reactions that you need. And understanding your financial plan is part of knowing what numbers you need to reach success and to reach your goals, which is really important. So, Krista, thank you so much for being here today. Now, you mentioned a book that you have written to help women in this situation. Tell them how they can access that book.
You can do it right now, skywealthsolutions.com. Right on the home page, you will see the picture that's up now. That is the cover of my ebook. It's an instant download. By getting that as well, you are going to, I'm going to continue to send out some great information via our blog called Skywriting. And I really encourage you to take the next step, be proactive, and start that conversation. Make sure you're headed in the right direction.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again so much for
My
being
pleasure.
here.
My
It was a pleasure to
Thank
have you.
Kathleen.
So you're an awesome member, and I look forward to continuing to hear more from you. You know, I think it's really important to just remember that you are in charge of your results and the success that you get from the results. And if you don't have a plan, if you don't know where you're going, you know, you don't know where you're going to end up, and that's important. So as we continue this segment, what I want you to keep in mind is when you're 60 years old, what do you want to do? When you're 70 years old, who do you want to be? Do you want to be a liability for your family, or do you want to be a benefit for your family? Do you want to be on the beach, you know, drinking a cocktail, or do you want to be, you know, working away at whatever job will hire you because you're now 70 years old? That's a plan that everybody has to have. And one of the most important things that I could teach you as far as business is concerned is understand the importance of creating an exit strategy. Start doing research right now on what would it take to continue your brand beyond where you're at right now. How would I hire a broker? What would I have to do? You know, what do I have to do to set my business up so it is a sellable business? You know, so often solopreneurs, single entrepreneurs, people that are running small businesses, all so often they spend their life building a brand, and then they discover that it's a brand that nobody wants to buy. And you know, that shouldn't be your focus. That shouldn't be your goal. If your business name is your personal name, I would strongly encourage you to continue changing that and making it different, because you can't sell. Like, I can't sell Jeff Hawkins Photography, because unless I sell it to a Jeff Hawkins, which probably won't happen statistically. So just being real with your expectations, being real with your goal. And if you don't know how to do a business plan, if you don't know if you have a sellable business, the first thing I encourage you to do is book your business assessment with me. So go to WOAMTEC.com, log in as a member, and click Business Assessment, Schedule Now. Click that button and schedule it, and we will get you on the calendar to make sure that you're not spinning your wheels and wasting your life and working really, really, really hard to find out when you're 60 you're going to be in trouble. So I appreciate you for being here today. We'll be right back in just a moment, but for now we're going to take a moment and watch a short video. Next segment is going to be a little bit different, because we're going to talk about how you can make money in what's typically known as a man's world, you know, where guys go to make money. And that we're going to talk about how to make money on the golf course. I think that that's really important, because relationship marketing is all about breaking past the barriers and finding a relationship with someone you know, like, and trust. And the only way you can find a relationship with someone you know, like, and trust is to know them, for starters, and to know what type of person they are, to create common ground, to connect on a different level. So now please welcome to our show today an amazing woman who is a member of the West Volusia chapter. Am I right? Please welcome Nancy. Nancy, thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure to have you.
It's great to be here with you.
Yay. Well, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, I am the healthy chocolate eating golf instructor.
The healthy chocolate eating golf instructor. That's brilliant. Love it. Okay.
I played the LPGA Tour for 15 years.
Wow.
Prior to getting married, having a family, and then flipped on the other side of playing to teaching, and I also teach. Stetson has these Rhodes Scholar programs where people come in from all over the country to take lessons from us, and it's been so much fun.
Well, I asked you to be here today, and I think that's amazing that you've done this, and I'm excited to learn and to take lessons with you myself, which is cool. But I asked you to be here today because I do see a lot of our men that are members of WOAMTEC. They play on the golf course all the time. They're bonding and connecting in a different way. But I've also found that a lot of women are intimidated because if they don't know how to golf, they're intimidated by that. Why do you think it's important to network on the golf course?
Well, I think you get to know people in a period of time that it takes to play around the golf, about 4 hours. You spend a lot of time. You learn if someone's humble, if something happens well, or they have integrity, do they play by the rules, are they someone you want to hang out with or do business with, because all kind of situations come up depending on how they're playing. If it's good, if it's bad, and you will get the whole gamut of everything. It happens to everybody.
If they have anger issues, I watched my brother play. Sorry, Tom, it's true.
Yeah.
But you do learn a lot about someone's personality and the way they react and how competitive they are.
Right.
You know, I love the integrity. You know, do they take a lot of mulligans? What do they do? Now, what do you recommend for somebody that maybe a woman who's never been on the golf course may like the idea of possibly toying with it? How do you recommend they get started?
Okay, for women, and I know one of the reasons I really like teaching, and in DeLand took a lot of years to be able to teach at a local course in DeLand, because one, women want to take lessons from a woman. There's just some ways I can talk to you that a man's not going to be able to do it. So, and I have to tell you, you don't have to be ultra coordinated, ultra athletic to play golf. You really don't. And you want me to show you something real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
Okay, so I work off of what we call GAS, grip, aim, setup. Okay, you need gas in your car to go. You need golf gas to play golf. And what it is just letting your body and the club work naturally how they're made. So having the proper grip is very important because that's the beginning of everything else that happens. Okay, having the proper setup and having a stance. And when I hit the ball, can't swing in here, it is not a lot of effort and the ball goes.
How far is good? If it goes, how far is good?
Like for a driver,
Yeah.
a driver 200
Okay.
plus. I used to hit it farther, but we're getting older, so, you know. But so people find out really, unfortunately, adults, they think too much about their golf swing. Instead of, if you handed a club to a kid and say, swing this, they'll swing it. You don't have to tell them a thing. Adults want to, how do I do this? What do I do? What do I do? You know, and so I just try and make it as natural and easy as it can be. And with really less effort, you get maximum efficiency. So come and see me. We'll have fun, and you'll probably get a piece of chocolate.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, wait, first let's go back. The gas. Tell me again, grip.
Yes, grip, aim, setup.
Grip, aim, and setup. Okay, so you want to remember that if you don't know anything about golf, you need to learn at least how to do your grip, your aim, and your setup, which
And
is
if
important.
that's decent, let me tell you, golf is a game of misses. Your misses will be better, I promise, if you have good gas.
That's awesome. That is awesome. You know, speaking of gas, I think it's important to say that you do sell also the healthy chocolate. And,
I do.
And because you are a little bit older, you have amazing energy. I think that's awesome. I see you go with everything you do. What do you attribute that to?
Well, I've decided not to get older. And this is a healthy energy drink with no caffeine, because trust me, women, if you've had a heart palpitation, you do not want to put something in your body that's going to make you palpitate more.
You know, I just saw something, a lot of the energy drinks, they're trying to pass a law that you can't purchase them unless you're over the age of 18.
Which is
so
probably good.
I think that's great. And I
Yeah.
love the fact that that doesn't have caffeine in it because I don't drink caffeine.
None of their chocolate has caffeine. And I can tie into Krista just for a moment, because my husband and I just got tested, blood tests and stuff, for an insurance policy. And my blood sugar is like 60. I eat chocolate every day. I drink one of these at least every day. My cholesterol is down almost 80 points.
Okay, so that's
okay.
awesome.
I'm not saying it's just the chocolate, but it's going in me every day, so
Right,
it's got to be somewhat related.
That's good. So it gives you energy. It keeps you going. And I know you have a, say the name of the chocolate. What kind of chocolate is it?
It's Shosai, healthy chocolate. Shosai, the name comes from, the XO is from chocolatl, the ancient Mayan word for chocolate. And, of course, most people have heard of the acai berry, and that's the CAI. So it's the perfect combination. It's antioxidants is what it's, chocolate antioxidants.
Okay.
Who doesn't want chocolate antioxidants?
That's awesome.
So,
Well, let's go back and talk
Okay.
a little bit more about the golf, because I know there's a lot of things that I wanted to make sure we shared. But the one thing that you can do, that you encourage, that helps a lot of nonprofits, is that you can do fundraising, golf tournament fundraising. So what would you recommend if there's a nonprofit that's out there? How can they use golf tournaments to make money for their charity of choice?
Well, most golf tournaments make at least a few $1,000s and up, depending on your prep time and how many volunteers you have and the games you put together. But the good thing with golf tournaments is, even though we're a mainly women's organization, you're going to pull the men in because the men are looking for golf tournaments to play in all the time at a pretty reasonable rate, and you want to give them a good bang for their buck also. So you need to reach out and get good giveaways or gifts, which people do for your goodie bags
all the time.
for the conference.
Right.
It's the same kind of thing. A certain new company wants to, throw out some new product. It's a perfect time to do that.
So if they're a nonprofit and they're watching here today, would you be willing to, if they called you, if they connected with you via Facebook, would you be willing to give them a few pointers or tips? Okay.
And then you can have title sponsors of the name of the event. They can, X amount of money buys the name of the event, and you're off running to a good start right there.
Devereaux of Florida, who is the organization we got all three of our children from, they do a golf tournament every year, and I can tell you, because I was on the board of directors at one point in time, they raised over $50,000. Sometimes it goes as high as $75,000. So it can be a big money maker for a 501c3.
And that's when mulligans are okay.
That's when mulligans are okay. Love it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
Speaking of 501c3, WOAMTEC Foundation, we just got our 501c3, so we are super excited that we are going to help continue to empower children who are aging out of foster care. We are working on our website right now, and what we're going to do with the website is we're going to have a way that WOAMTEC members can connect with these kids that are aging out of foster care to make them feel like they still have something to belong to, because they get sent away with not much money at all and no one to connect with. And what child would survive at 18, knowing that you've lost your only connection, which was your caseworker, the only person that took care of you. So I'm real excited about that, and you'll be hearing lots of great things, but we will also be doing a golf tournament. So Nancy and I are starting about that. So start practicing now. Find the person that can help you now so you can participate in our 2014 golf tournament that we're doing to support children aging out of foster care in the WOAMTEC Foundation. Speaking of that, you do something on Sunday nights that I think is cool. So if you're in Seminole County, if you're anywhere in Florida, you might want to check this out. I'm going to go, so if you want to go with me on one Sunday, let me know, but tell them what it is.
For Sundays in October, backed by popular demand, because I did them last year, we have happy hour golf clinics. So what it is at 3 o'clock. I know it's football season, so we have these DVR things, no problem. And my Steelers are doing horrible. I don't care right now. No. So 3 o'clock, we'll do the first week. This Sunday is putting. We'll do a lot of things to help you learn how to putt a little better. And everybody's done at least putt-putt. It's the easiest skill in golf, so no worries if you're a total beginner. And we do some games and things. So we'll do that for an hour, and then we go have the 19th hole or a drink. They put out some lovely food.
And it's only $15.
It's
That is an amazing...
$15 per person, and now if you bring two people, we'll let you do it $25 for two.
Okay, that is awesome. So I'm definitely going to do it. If anybody's watching, if you want to do it with me, let me know. I would love to connect with you. Now, we do have one more thing that I think is important for Nancy to share with you. If you are watching right now and you have a son or a daughter, a couple of things I think that she mentioned to me that I thought would be good for our members to understand. First, you have a son.
I have a son and a daughter.
And a daughter, okay.
Yeah.
So, and your son and you like to golf together?
We do. About 4 years, he's almost 18. About 4 years ago, we used to hit everything the same, could hit the same clubs and everything. Now he hits it 100 yards past me. So I just went up and played a tournament for their family weekend in Indiana, and we won.
Yay, that's awesome. That's awesome. But
fun,
what I
yeah.
liked about that is it really teaches you a different way to bond with your child,
Yeah.
a different way to connect if you have something like that in common. But you also mentioned something that was important about getting your daughters into golf and why it's important and how it could create scholarship opportunities because there's a demand for that. So talk to us about that.
And I did run this summer. LPGA has LPGA Girls Golf, and we ran a LPGA Girls Day at the beach at our golf course. And you really want to try and introduce girls to the game. It's really harder for them unless they have that inner competitiveness to stick with it because, as girls become teenagers and other things become more important. But the amount of scholarships among colleges for girls for golf there's so many out there because, the schools with Title IX have to have equal scholarships for boys' sports and girls' sports. So a lot of times they might not even use all the girls' scholarships up. And they might not be, they're not going to be the top tier schools because they obviously recruit their players.
Right.
But I'm going through the college process right now. My son's going to be looking for next year and then my daughter the year after. And there's so many schools you've never heard of. And they're out there, so
Absolutely.
Get free education, maybe.
Right, absolutely. Well, thank you. I think that's an important tip to share, and that's a tip that could have just saved you a lot of money. So get your daughters into golf early. Jeff, sign our girls up for golf lessons, and help fund their education because there's a supply and demand need there, which is important. So, Nancy, thank you so much for being here today. It was a pleasure to have you as a guest on the show. And I do know that you're going to give away a lesson today. So you've got a gift certificate for a lesson. So I want the first person to respond to our Facebook post. Now, you have to live in the Central Florida area or be willing to travel.
Wow, this is in DeLand.
In DeLand.
Okay.
Be willing to travel to DeLand, which it's not that far away. You may
not.
think it is, but it's not that far.
It's right off of I-4.
Be willing to travel to DeLand. The first person to Facebook it to Tanya on our WOAMTEC Facebook. Is it a WOAMTEC Facebook page?
Yes.
Okay, on the WOAMTEC Facebook page is going to win a free golf lesson. Jeff, go to your computer quick and sign me up. Thank you so much again, Nancy. I appreciate it. You have a wonderful day. Okay, we've got a lot of other exciting things to share with you. Our Confident Woman magazine is about to debut, so if you have a notable achievement, now a notable achievement means if you have something that you've done that is won an award, broken a record, achieved a new goal. Now it can't be launching my business, it can't be moved locations, it has to be something that is a profound goal that shows you've done something notable. You can go to WOAMTEC.com and there is a section underneath Confident Woman magazine that describes what we feel a notable achievement is. Check it out and send it in because that can be some free advertising for you and your business. The other thing I wanted to mention is I mentioned Devereaux of Florida. Devereaux is the agency in Central Florida that we adopted all three of our children from. Well, we are doing a shoe drive for them. And I'm mentioning this shoe because even if you don't live in Florida, you might want to consider doing it anywhere in the world because if there's a need for kids in foster care, that they're coming into care without shoes, and the agencies are really having a hard time keeping up with it and making sure that each child has the proper shoes to wear. And think about it. I mean, I buy shoes for my kids 3 times a year at least. Your foot grows fast and changes quickly. So we are doing a shoe drive, and we encourage you to do the same thing. If you need me to connect you with a foster care agency in your hometown community, I will be more than happy to do so. But clean out your closet. I was shocked. Okay, I was shocked. I had 3 pairs of tennis shoes that I haven't worn in at least a year and a half in my shoe closet. So check out your shoe closet, give up a pair of shoes or so, and help a child go to school in style and be able to attend gym class and PE. So looking for new or gently used tennis shoes, all ages, all sizes, girls, boys, men's, ladies, women, whatever. And if you have a gym, I challenge you to go to the gym and ask them to collect some too. I put a box at my local gym, and we collected over 100 tennis shoes, and it's a smaller gym. So if we can do this across the USA, we can really make a difference and help those in need, help those that need our help the most. So I also wanted to mention that we are going to be launching in the next couple of days. We're going to be sending you information about the next Confident Woman Conference. This is our national conference. Now, I've mentioned this before. We are not having a conference this October, this month, because we have chosen to move it to 2014 because we want everybody, if you're in Alaska, if you're in California, if you're in Arizona, if you're in Maryland, Texas, North Carolina, wherever you are, we want you to mark your calendar and make it a Disney vacation. Make it a getaway for you and your family. The conference will be held April 24th and 25th, 2014. That's a Thursday and a Friday, so you can fly in on Thursday, send your husband off to go do something fun with the kids on Thursday and Friday, and spend the weekend here and enjoy Central Florida, which is going to be lots of fun. So speaking of the conference, our next guest is actually the host of that conference. So I wanted her to be here today because I've been working with a lot of people who are planning special events, corporate events. The holidays are coming up. They're looking for ways to motivate their staff and recognize their customers. We also meet people all the time that are planning weddings and reunions, and they come to me asking for referrals. And because I know so many of you plan events or are planning events, but don't plan as many events as we do here at WOAMTEC Corporate, you may not have some of the experience or some of the knowledge or some of the skills. So we're here to not only show you how you can save money by using a certain venue, but also how you can have the best event possible for your holiday party or family reunion or whatever it may be. So please welcome Robin. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, Kathleen.
Hi.
Great to be here. I'm excited, nervous a little bit,
Oh,
but
you'll be fine, girlfriend. Just picture us just sitting down talking like we've done 1,000 times.
A million
times probably. Robin, tell everybody, look in camera too, and tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Okay, I'm Robin Simmons. I'm with the Rosen Plaza Hotel. We're located right on International Drive. We're convenient from everywhere, even Alaska. I'm in the catering department there, Associate Director of Catering. I have the most awesome job of getting to help people have really great experiences and great memories in their life by helping them with their wedding or their conference or anniversary.
Okay, awesome. Well, I wanted to share, because people ask me all the time, why do you go back to the Rosen Plaza? Why do you use that hotel? Well, A, because I love you. We have a great relationship, and it doesn't take as much work because you know what we want, and you can do it, which is awesome. You're welcome. Thank you. But also, I choose it for a lot of specific reasons, and I think that it's important when you're planning a venue. There's lots of great venues out there. There's country clubs, and there's specific reception locations and ceremony locations and hotels, and there's lots of different venues. But when you're planning your wedding or your special event, I think it's important to take it in consideration that you can save a lot of money if you choose venues that offer different things, that are included. And one of the reasons we love your event is you make our events wow people. Just this last conference, you've got 2 ballrooms, okay? And one of our members walked into one of the ballrooms, which wasn't decorated. It was set up more like a meeting. And she walked out and she was like, "Oh man, I thought you didn't decorate this time." And I said, "No, wait till you see that ballroom." And she was blown away. And she looks forward to how the decor that we choose and how we set it up each time, because it really does create a wowing impression. How can people save money by using your venue? Like even with a wedding, like I just discovered the other day, you offer a lot of different things with your wedding packages that can create that wow impression and save a bride or a client money.
Right. Well, we pride ourselves on our hotel at being able to offer a lot more. If we are the right fit for you, there are many, many choices out there, but I invite you to come and see the Rosen Plaza and see what we can offer you. We add a lot of things like the decor you're mentioning. That's kind of our specialty, and we like to try and match that to your theme. We've had many conversations about what our theme was going to be for the conference. So that's one of the many things we do. We can also offer you an amazing staff. They've been there forever and ever. Great service.
With your wedding packages, though, what do they include? Because I remember reading, and it was like all this extra stuff that the other venues that my brother and his fiance were looking at didn't include.
Well, our wedding packages do include, of course, the ceiling drape, the decor, a lighting package, your specialty linens, chair covers, sashes, or Shivari chairs, which are a big thing with the brides these days. They love those Shivari chairs. Centerpieces.
And that's a huge wedding saver, because the Shivari chairs, I've priced them before, and they're pricey. You get 150, 200 seats at $8 to $10, $6 if you get a coupon and can get a good deal, $6 a piece. That could save you $1,200. Like that's a huge benefit to having the wedding or a wedding at your location.
And delivery and setup of all these things, that's another added expense that it's included with us. So.
Okay. That's wonderful. Now, the other thing that I wanted to make sure that we talk about is I know that some people plan events. Like I just had one of our business consultants plan an event, and this was in Boca. This was in South Florida. So it wasn't at your hotel, but she planned an event, and she wanted to do a seminar, and she wanted to have vendors. And there's one of our directors is doing that right now. Actually, I told her to give you a call. Remind me to give you her information. Okay. But she wants to plan a health and wellness fair. And what happens is a lot of times as a business, what they do is they get an idea, and it could be a great idea to plan a health and wellness fair if you're in the health and wellness industry, and then create a way that you can market whatever it is that you're trying to market, and cover your expenses because you can make money by bringing in other players. That's a good strategy. That's a good concept. But if you're not in the event industry, there are certain things that can happen that can then all of a sudden shift and become a liability for you, become a liability for your business. So first I want to talk to them about some things that they may not know, that the normal person booking a family reunion somewhere may not know if they don't have someone coordinating it for them. The first is, I know what a BEO is. You know what a BEO is. Can you tell them what a BEO is?
Well, a BEO is kind of an industry term. If someone in your catering department says they're going to prepare your BEO, that is a banquet event order, and they're usually numerous pages full of all kinds of details. But it's really, really important that your clients read every single line, because we need to know that we've communicated properly and I've got all the details down. Because from there, that BEO goes from me and it funnels down to all of our departments. It's their marching orders for what we need to be sure we have done for you. So times are important, details are important, menus are important. The way the room is set up, it's all going to be in there.
And don't take anything lightly. I mean, like I've caught through the years of us working together and doing different things, we've added little things like, are there trash cans nearby? Or you don't want garbage starting to gather up if your guests are going to grabbing a napkin and they don't know what to do with it or whatever. We worked out something. One of our attendees at one of our events walked into the room and she pointed something out to me, and ever since then on our BEO it says no onions on the salad.
Exactly. I remember.
And you remember that, and I never thought about that. It's something so simple, but she said, the room was so beautiful, but the minute I walked in there, I got this overwhelming smell of onions, and who cares if you take off 2 onions off of the top of a salad? It was a small detail that totally changed the effect of the event.
It makes a difference to some of the people attending. So it's not just our onions, it's any onions.
It's any onions, no onions on the salad. Put it in your BEO. But it could be small little details, and you do want to make sure you communicate from the time, from the amount of people to all of those details, which are important. So I do also want to talk about guarantees, because I know in weddings, like with my brother, since he's getting married, when you book events, a lot of times people like to go higher because they feel as though, like in his situation, he said, oh, we'll probably have 175, but they didn't write down all the details, so they didn't really know what they were going to have. And it's really important that you talk to us about guarantees.
Well, the guarantee is basically the hotel or the venue, restaurant, wherever, needs to know how many people we're planning for. From the very beginning, we need to know how many we think it's going to be so we can make sure we have enough space for your event. From there, it's all about the food and the staffing. If you tell me you're going to have 175 people, we need to know that because we're ordering food specifically for it. It's not just there. We're staffing the room specifically for it. We're counting chairs. We're setting up the room. If your brother is giving you too high a number, that may not be a good thing for him, because you're going to pay for that higher number.
Right, exactly. I think that's really important. You are going to pay for that higher number, and that can cost you a lot. If you're at $125 per person, or whatever it is, depending upon what type of event you're having. The other thing I wanted to make sure that I see happen all the time, where people don't include, they create a budget and they see, okay, I can get this meal, and I'm just making up numbers here, but I can get this meal, steak and salmon, trio or duo entree for $125 per person. And they work that into their budget and they think it's doable, but they don't realize, they don't add in the tax and the gratuity. And that can change your price point substantially.
Yes,
so do you find couples and families often having problems like that when booking events?
A lot of times they're not aware. They think that the menu price is the all-inclusive. No, I think almost everywhere you're going to have to add that tax and service charge on. It's one of the things I talk to them right up front, because it's a difference. It's quite a difference. And back to the guarantee, if you under guarantee, that's not a good thing either, because now we're not prepared for you. So Yeah.
You have to be very, and I know you give an estimate in the beginning, and then you stay in, if you have a great person that you're working with, you'll stay in communication throughout the process as reservations start to come in. And then you usually have, 48 or 72 hours where you have to give your final number?
It's typically 72 with
72
most
hours.
venues, and ours is 72.
Okay.
And at that 72nd hour, that's when we actually, the chef and all the folks who make everything happen for me, are getting on the phones and ordering the exact food. And if we have chairs and linens, we're ordering the exact numbers at that point. So it's very important.
Okay.
And I hate to see people over-guarantee, but under is not good either.
Absolutely, absolutely. So be real with your numbers. Make sure you create an Excel spreadsheet. Make sure you track it diligently and do what you need to do. You know, the other thing that I know shocks people from time to time, and will shock the person that's planning on doing the health and wellness seminar, because if they're not watching right now, this may shock you. So be prepared before you make the phone call. You have to have a certificate of insurance. And a lot of people try and book venues. You know, Krista just wrote a book. She may want to sell her book, and so she may want to have an event where she's doing a seminar and do all of this, but she may not have a certificate of insurance. What is that, and what do they need to do?
Well, I'm not a legal or insurance person by any means, but in our day and age, the time we live in now, everyone needs to be sure that everyone else is covered. It's not just the hotel's responsibility anymore. If there's a trip and fall or something, it may or may not been our responsibility. Sometimes it's our vendor's equipment and whatnot. So you're going to see, I think, a lot more and more and more. Not only is the planner in a big conference going to be requested a certificate of insurance, but also your vendors, your DJs, your photographers, anyone that you have coming into your property and working on property. The venues and hotels are going to really be more and more adamant about getting those certificates of insurance. It's to protect everyone all the way around now.
Absolutely, and that's very important. You know, protecting your liability or lowering your liability as much as possible is an important thing in business for everybody, which is true. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about, a lot of people don't realize that you can actually save money when booking your events, whether it be a wedding or family reunion or a business event or a seminar or whatever, by not doing it during prime times, or doing it by not doing it during the week instead of prime times. I think that's important.
Right.
So, and it doesn't matter if you live in Wisconsin. Where was the wedding that we did? Was it Wisconsin? Jeff? South Dakota. We did a wedding in the middle of July in South Dakota. Well, newsflash, they don't have air conditioners in South Dakota. It was like 110 degrees that day, and there was no air in the church. So it might have been better to lean towards not doing July. She probably got a little bit of a deal.
Probably got a good deal in July in South Dakota.
Exactly. But maybe lean towards the fall or the spring. So you want to think of the time of the year of your event, depending upon where you're doing it. But you also want to realize that you may be able to save money if you're willing to make everybody sweat. Like, I don't know. In Florida, what are the better times for your business?
Well, quieter times in general are usually September, August, October. You know, depending on your venue, and I say that because different venues have different markets. Mine particularly is near the convention center, so we do a big mix of conference, major convention, and our social groups. Other hotels might be out more toward Disney or toward Universal. Their times of year might differ a little bit when they're busy and when they're not. So you really, once you've decided on your venue, you really want to talk to them about, if you can, be flexible in your date. What is the best time? You know,
and
when are you
during
going to
the day of the week, like a lot of weddings come into town from overseas, and they always get married Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because they can get a better rate on those days, which is important. Also, if you don't book it out as far, like if you're planning a big event where you're booking it out a year and a half away, you're not going to get as good of a rate as if you book a wedding like the first quarter of 2014 and you do it after New Year's, you know what I mean, and the day happens to be open. Is that correct?
Well, for your smaller events, social events like weddings, you're probably, some venues won't even book them that far in advance. It might be 9 months or it might be 12 months. Yes, the shorter term you book an event like that, probably a better deal. If you want to call me today and book a wedding for next week, I can probably work with
You'll
you.
hook up. Okay.
Yeah, probably really can.
That's awesome. If it's open, because if it's open, the chances of it not going is very high. Well, the last thing I want to make sure that we mention is whatever venue that you do, be sure that you choose for whatever your event may be, take into consideration the people who are attending and the rain plan. Like I just had heard of a wedding that was just recently that there was no rain plan, and the contract specifically said, should the weather not permit the event, you don't get any money back. You know, so that's a huge gamble for a very important day. So you want to make sure that there's a rain plan, and in a hotel situation, there absolutely would be.
Yes, we can always bring you inside if the weather's really bad. So yeah, nothing worse than the bride getting soaking wet on her wedding day.
It poured all day long for our wedding, and we were at Cypress Grove, so it was an outside venue, and my rain plan was, it's not going to rain. It never rains in December, so take my advice. It does rain at the times you don't want to, and what I learned that day is God told me, honey, you're not in control. you may want to try and be, but you're not in control. So I appreciate you so much for being here today, Robin. Thank you for all you do for our conference. She wants to meet you April 24th, 2014. So come to the Confident Woman Conference and join us, because we're going to have a magnificent time and lots of fun. So I'm just so excited for all of our members and everything that each person can share to each other individually. If you have not been on WOAMTEC Live and you have something educational that you can share with our membership and with people across the USA, we want to find out who you are. I want to know who you are, because I'm booking WOAMTEC Live guests and speakers. And don't worry, if you're in Alaska, we can Skype you in. So we can make it happen. We can make it work no matter where you're at in the United States. And we want to connect with you. So if you have an educational topic, email me at info@woamtec.com, the topic that you want to consider. I do want to give a big shout out to a very good member, D. Tui. D. Tui, you are the winner of the golf lesson. So woohoo! If you want to do that with me, call me and let's do it together and make that happen. I also want to give a shout out to two magnificent, fabulous directors, Melita Franzen and Deb Walker. Thank you for being on live today and chatting with Tanya on Facebook. And finally, last but definitely not least, a big shout out to our crew here today, Tanya Roller and Jeff Hawkins, my wonderful husband. We hope that we brought some value to you, some education to your life, and we hope to continue to make a difference in your business. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful month. See you next month. God bless.